So I'm working on a little zoning job here. What I'm doing is replacing the outdoor unit. I'm gonna add a TXV to this coil here, but since it's a zone job, as you can see, there's one of the dampers. It has a bypass there, but there's no bypass damper. It just leaves the supply and goes over right to the return with no damper in it. But I'm feeling around, and it does feel like it has something, but I'm gonna take this off and look inside there and see. If not, we're gonna have to put a bypass damper on. Not sure what they're doing, but right now it just looks like it's bypassing 100% of the time. It's hard to see, but let's see. It just goes whips around right there, follows around to the return. That's bad. That's the way to kill a compressor. Alright, so I checked see, I got the flex off for the bypass there, just to see what was going on, and to my surprise, that's what I found. The bypass is capped off. So what I'm going to do is, of course, remove the screws, take the cap off, and then I have a EWC SBD 10, which is a static pressure bypass, the only static pressure bypass damper that is approved by ACA. And once we get it installed, I'll show it to you because it is really, really nice. So I just opened a box of the EWC SBD damper, and look, parts you need. Look at that. So I'll make sure I throw that in the corner like that. But look at this blade on this thing. Pull the stuff out of the box and see. So I just opened it up by simply just pushing the button here, like there. Like that. Just push that button in, and then you can hold it in and turn the blade there. But look how the blade is designed. See over here, pretty cool. So, so that's the damper, and it is very, very cool how it works. Once I get it installed, then we'll get it set up. It doesn't take anything to set it up either. Not quite sure how I'm going to install that yet, but just for ease, in case something breaks on it, I think I'm going to cut it at the bead there, and then install the damper. And I have a 90, so I attach the 90 to the damper, and then attach the flex to the 90, and then go ahead and wrap it with duct wrap, and then it'll be installed. And then I have to drill a hole in the supply and in the return, and then run my pressure tubes, and then set it up. Setup on these things are very, very, very simple, and then once they're set, the system is set for life as far as static pressure goes. So the nice part about these dampers is they work on just about any system that has a airflow problem. So the damper is in now, and I decided to go ahead and, like I said, cut the pipe that was coming off of it and install it there. And as you see, I just kind of did it to where the damper is replaceable if I need it to be replaceable, and easy to get to, so no problems. This is our wire here for 24 volts. I'm gonna add a transformer to the system, and then I just got to drill a hole in the supply plenum and drill a hole in the return, and hook up my pressure tubes, and everything will be good. I wish I had a bigger damper, but I'm kind of limited to room. As you see, there's nowhere else to put a damper. So, as a matter of fact, that one at the top up there, right there, the motor is up in between the ductwork and the 2x4 plate. So if I ever had to change it, it's gonna be a pain. But yeah, so I just gotta connect the flex and get it wired up. So there's nothing really to wiring this thing up. It just takes 24 volts. It's independent of the zone panel. You just have to wire it up to 24 volts. And of course it's already plugged in there. So what I did is I ran the wire down, went through the zone panel, came out of the zone panel, ran it down, around, up, and I just wired it up to their transformer from this zone panel board they made. So now it's all wired up. If I turn the switch on, and you see that's it. And then once we get the we're doing an install here, changing out the outdoor unit because they have a fairly new furnace and coil. I have to put a TXV on to match the unit. So I just got a Goodman TXV, so all I have to do is just take this nut off here, take the piston out that's in the coil, and then put the TXV in there, and then just take that nut off there and put the equalization tube there on the suction line, and then pull the vacuum. We'll be able to start it up. Once we start it up, then I can set the bypass. Can't do it until the unit's running. It's got to be running on high speed so that damper can check the total static pressure. And then once it checks the static pressure, then it will modulate according to what it needs. So if you ask me, you couldn't find a better bypass damper. So I was wondering, you know, I pulled the bag out, it says parts you need. I was wondering what was in this envelope, magic envelope. So I opened it up. Let's see what comes in it. Put down on the floor here. Huh, look at that. Got a couple wire nuts, got some little zip ties, got screws. So they do send you everything you need. Of course, I've already put my supply air, a little tube there, into the supply air. Now remember, when you're putting these in, make sure you don't turn them upside down. So on the supply air, you don't turn it like that to where the coil's underneath of it. You know, make sure you go with the airflow. And they make it pretty easy because look, airflow. So on the return, of course, it would be turned that way, because the arrow goes towards the furnace. On the return, arrow goes away from the furnace on the supply. There you go. So yeah, so they send you everything you need except for the transformer. Alright, so I do have the supply hooked up right here. It's already installed correctly. Got the tube hooked up. They send the tube with it. And since it's supply, there's a little plus right there. You just hook it up to the plus. The return will be on the minus. And that's all there is to hooking this sucker up. I mean, you can't get any easier than that. There's no more guesses or whatever. I know Honeywell makes their little jack-in-the-box Tonka truck deal, but this is so much better. You won't be able to find another damper on the market like this. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get the return done, and then, like I said, we had to wait on starting the system up. He's got to pull a vacuum. My subs are doing that. Once we get ready, I'll show you how to set it up. Once we set it up, you'll be like, dang, that's all it is. Yep, that's all it is. And it's just not, hey, it's done. No, you have to go through a setup, but it's very simple to do. So I just turned power on, and it just got through moving. So now the setup light is on. It's blinking. You can see it blinking right there. We're just waiting to turn on power. Once we turn on power to the unit, I'm gonna let it run for about 3 minutes. And once it let it run 3 minutes or so, then I'll go ahead and push the little button, and then it will adjust. We'll guide you through that. So it's been about 3 minutes or so, actually maybe a little longer than that, and you see how the light is blinking there. So I'm going to go ahead and take my pen, push in on that, and now the light stays lit, and you watch it, it's moving. So what it's going to do, now it's going to completely open, because it already knows what the static pressure is, and it's going to completely open so it can get a difference between the two. And then once it opens, then it will, well, let's see what it's going to do. It'll be like that for 10 seconds, I believe. Now it's starting to close again. Alright, so now it's been shut for a little bit, and we are ready to go. See how the light is completely out. So now it's set up for life. So right now it's completely closed. Alright, so I'm going to have the thermostat in the basement shut off, see what happens. Alright, you see it moving? The damper for the basement just shut. So now this is modulating open a little bit. There it is. Well, so that's it. So it opened about a quarter of the way. Alright, so I just turned the second zone off. So it moved down a little bit, and it's still moving. Yeah, it's still moving. That's pretty good. It's not closed all the way. So that's good. So that's how you install the SBD bypass damper from EWC.